All right, so it looks like we have 20 minutes to figure out what wage we want to negotiate. And then after we figure that out, we read the 1985 negotiation.
Okay. So I guess we're in a 7-year right now, and that's a contract. So we like a decrease go against that contract. And if you want to null and void that contract, then we need to start this negotiating the whole thing.
You're saying that we want to null and void the contract?
Well, we're in a contract at the current price of $10.69 as pay, right?
Right.
So you want to decrease our pay, right?
Not necessarily.
Oh.
I mean, we in a roundabout way, yes. Because the incentive program we have is a fantastic one compared to every other company out there. You're getting 60% over your base pay incentive, and that's huge.
Well, but that's not for all employees. There's been no incentive program in this new factory. That is just for the old employees that work in the old factory, get the escrow money. The new employees that have been hired since the new factory put into place isn't getting into that.
But isn't what we're doing here trying to figure out what the new factory wages will be?
Are they what? I didn't hear what you said, Lisa.
Oh, I said, isn't what we're doing here trying to figure out what the new factory wages will be based on what's already in place?
Because I thought we'd been working in the factory for about a year. Or is that?
So how I understood it is we're taking the 1983 negotiation, and that's what's under being discussed.
Mm-hmm.
And it says the plant was fully functional in August of 1982. So yeah, it's been, and this is September of 83. So we've been in the new factory for about a year. And page 2 says that the group incentive system was eliminated.
Yeah. See, I thought we were negotiating.
Okay. Remember when I said I was totally confused with this?
I'm right there with you. So, I guess us as employees, we feel like we're still in this 7-year contract, and the incentive program is gone for new employees, and the old employees are still getting a percentage of from the escrow account. But as employees, because the new factory has made the company 20% profitable, we feel like we should get part of that profit and ask for a 10% raise.
Okay, well, Sarah has a great explanation of why we shouldn't do that.
Yeah, we definitely feel like the company is making more money, but the employees are not having to work as hard to produce that income for the company.
But
another problem too is a lot of our competitors are currently going out of business. They're going into bankruptcy because of the recession right now. They cannot afford to keep up these higher prices. One of our competitors, their union agreed to a 40% pay cut just so they could keep the plant open. We're not asking for that drastic of a cut. What we're looking for is more taking the top 3 out of 5 wages and doing an average of those. So it would be right around $8.50. We think that would still be pretty fair, but it would also make sure that we don't end up in the same bankruptcy problem that currently our analysts are saying is going to happen in the next 10 years if we don't make changes.
And we feel like our benefits package is pretty comparable to everybody else, and that combined with hitting the industry average and saving the company, meaning all of the union workers get to keep their jobs in the long run, seems sensible as a business practice for us.
Okay. So I know that like the Me Too clause was put in our contract, but the intent of that was not for us to get lower wages from that. And the company's more profitable because of the work that, the factory's more efficient, but also, if the employees weren't in the factory, it wouldn't be 20% more profitable. So we feel like a decrease of that much is not in the best interest of us employees. And we're still in the middle of a 7-year contract.
So would you want us to keep paying you your normal wage and have the company go under, or are you willing to negotiate a lower salary to keep the company intact?
Well, we kind of feel like going below what we're currently being paid is in the best interest, and we don't see the impact of the economy right now on the company because the company is profitable. I'm not good at this, sorry.
Well, join the club.
No, you guys are doing good, I think. I think it's going pretty well. I feel like if this negotiation is not met, then there's going to be a strike by the employees. You guys are not going to, if you can't budge a little bit on wage, then we're not going to be able to meet what you want, and so you're not going to keep coming to work. You're going to strike, which isn't that bad for our company because we can go out and get people that we can pay $5 less. And we might have to train them, we might have to help them to learn, but the process is not as complicated as it used to be, and so these people just need to watch the process, make sure everything's running okay, and pay them $5 less until we do reach a contract negotiation.
But will the company be working as efficiently as it is now with those employees that aren't trained? It's going to take time to train them, and the company is going to take a loss right there.
Well, maybe, but we do have upper management people that could, supervisors that already work on the floor that know what needs done, and they could be a buffer in that time it takes to train to help the production keep at the levels it is now.
So under our current contract, we have a no strike agreement, so we can't even strike. So the workers, we can't strike. We've already lost worker autonomy. And under this, you're wanting to meet under this Me Too clause to lower our rates? but it was intended that that would increase our rates. So we should just stick with our 7-year contract and leave our wages alone. You're profitable. The threat of us going under because our competitors are going under is not necessarily the truth.
Well, I think it's important for us to give credence to the business analysts that we have that are saying that we will go under in 10 years. I mean, all their reports show that that's going to happen. No matter what the average of the industry is, it's just we're paying too high.
So are we kind of at a standstill with negotiations? Or Cindy, how do you feel like are meeting them halfway between their 850 and our 1069? Or our base pay right now?
So our base pay is 1069 right now.
Yeah.
So you want to meet them halfway in between there?
I'm asking how you feel about that.
I still feel like it's a loss for the workers. I mean,
Yeah.
they're working, the plant is 20% more profitable. And yeah, there's new equipment, but I feel like the people are working harder as a thank you to not moving them. The 1069 an hour was the rate back in 1978 when we had a negotiation. So we haven't had a raise since 1978. It's 1983 now.
Yeah, that's true. And with the recession, prices are going up.
So I don't really feel like we should go down. I feel like we should stay the same and just wait for our contract to expire and negotiate it then. Maybe the industry will look better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that.
Maybe, maybe there'll be a turnaround in the economy and it will go up, and then under the Me Too clause, we'll get a raise then. But we haven't had a raise since 1978.
What if we re-enlisted the incentive program and lowered your base rate?
So that the incentive program would apply to new hires and not necessarily be this escrow account system, whatever that is. Go back to the old incentive program in 1978.
Not necessarily. Wouldn't necessarily have to do exactly that, but we could look into that program or having any type of incentive program, but have the base rate be a little bit lower.
Mm-hmm. Will the incentive program, because some incentive programs say you pay us $8.50 an hour, but the incentive program is set up to where it will make up, get us back up to the 1069. Is that what you're looking at for an incentive program that could get those that meet the incentive program back up to the 1069?
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is that if we lower the base rate and then we still do the, hang on a second. If we still do the incentive,
Lisa, you went on mute.
sorry.
That's okay.
So the incentive program said that the average employee took home another 60% of base pay and incentive payments. And so that might bring up our productivity in the long run, keeping our company afloat, but yet still provide employees the opportunity to earn more money than the negotiated wage.
I like the idea of incentive pay. So with the potential to even earn more than the 1069, which would be what where we were asking for a 10% increase. Oh.
Yeah, I would be open to something with a change in the incentive program so that if we took a little bit of a hit on the base pay, but we could still get back up for the people that are working hard.
Yeah.
What do you think, Sarah and Alex?
I think that would be good. We're looking over the entire industry for food here. Stuff is staying on the shelf, and we have. This is the time when all of the low-fat, low-salt foods are coming out. We don't have that market yet, and so our stuff is staying on the shelf. We're going to look at these huge production. We're not seeing in these numbers yet that it's affecting our production, because it's not, but it is affecting the money that comes back to us in sales. And it's the economy is kind of like whitewater rafting, you know what I mean? Where the companies are raft, and you're going to have these really big highs in inflation like we saw in 1978, and really big lows like now in 83. And if we cannot compensate for those things, we're all going to fall out of the boat. We can't save it. That's just the way it is. So we've got to find a way to work together to make sure that we are staying with the other companies, with our competitors, so we are prices, so consumers will come in and buy our products still, so we'll be able to pay our employees. We want the city of Deloitte to still be working with us. We love being in Deloitte, you know, and so if we can stay in business there, but we cannot, the way the economy is right now, we cannot stay with those higher prices. But if we're able to negotiate and maybe redo this incentive program with you guys, do a little lower pay cut now, and then redo the incentive program, so you're still, if you're working at the same rates, we can still look at doing the increases you had before, I think that would be acceptable.
Whoa. You almost
I'd agree. Just looking at the 20% increase in revenue is a big increase, but looking at inflation and the cost of things like inputs, cost of manufacturing and wages, everything's going to go up with inflation, and so that could kill that 20% revenue increase, which we need to go different places and find ways to get that margin. And I feel like wages is definitely one that is negotiable, that we feel like we can lower because of what else is going on in the market. Everybody else has a little bit lower wage price than we do, and we don't need to go that low. Maybe we need to be negotiable and make the workers happy, but I feel like lowering the wage and maybe keeping that incentive could definitely help the company, help people to be motivated for their job, and help us to keep our production up and stay competitive in the company or in the market, and keep our product prices low.
So you had proposed $850 as a salary. We kind of feel like that's a little low. Can we meet halfway maybe with the incentive program?
I feel like just from, maybe I'm not looking at this as from my Baxter point of view. I feel like going from 1069 to 850 is quite a big jump. So maybe a little higher than that, because that's what the industry averages are doing. And I feel like since our production is pretty good and we have that 20% in revenue, that we could keep our wages a little higher than 50.
Okay.
Well, back when the incentive program was in place, saying that employees sometimes got about 60% more than their base pay. Maybe we could consider that number when trying to figure out how to get back up to that 1069.
Okay. So would 950 be a bad number?
I think 950. You know, are we still wanting to? We're wanting to do the incentive program, right?
But maybe not make the incentive program. I don't know. Like I said, I'm good at this.
Well, the thing is, if you pay everybody $9.50 and everybody goes on the incentive program, then you're back to paying what, $13 or $14 an hour. So that's not really a good negotiation for back pay.
I can't do math, sorry.
So what do you guys propose besides the 850?
What if we go 875 base pay and then look at doing the incentive program where if you exceed the numbers that we had originally, we can look at doing the 10% above.
Maybe include a cap on the incentive program.
I think
I kind of feel like, we've got, our original proposal was 10% higher, so 1176, and we've gone down to 950, but you guys are only giving us a guaranteed 25 cents more than you originally wanted to give us. The incentive program isn't guaranteed. I kind of feel like we're giving a lot and not getting a lot in return. Does that make sense?
What if we did 950 with the incentive program having a cap of 1150?
I think we could live with that.
I definitely feel the incentive program needs a cap because dropping the wage and then keeping the incentive program that can go way high, it just like destroys the negotiation because then we just have to pay everybody that much more no matter what. I mean, as long as they produce. But
Yeah,
I think a cap is good.
I think that it could come back to bite us if we didn't put a cap on it.
Okay. I can live with that. Can you live with that, Cindy?
Yeah, I can live with a cap on it.
Okay. So I think we've met our wage of $9.50.
With an incentive program for everyone.
Yeah, incentive program with a cap of $11.50. All right. So now I think we have to read the 1985 negotiations.
Okay.
All right, so I think we break out into our groups, do we, or do we read both of them together?
I think we read them and then just come back and discuss it.
Okay. I'm kind of thinking I saw somewhere where we were supposed to record our small group discussions. Did anybody see that anywhere?
I didn't see that.
Okay, because I can't find it now, but I thought I had seen it earlier.
Yeah, because Cindy and I discussed that, and I didn't see where it needed to be recorded, that part.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
So how about if me and Sarah and Alex hang up and I'll call them back for a separate discussion. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
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 All right, so we're supposed to read the 19.
Yeah, and it's
1985 one, and then discuss that.
yeah, and it's found in the sorry, it's found in the group, I guess the leader part. Do you see it down there?
I just see it on the, I use the content page a lot, and I just see it down. It says Baxter Corp 1985 negotiations.
Yeah. Mhm.
And then it has like for the local 190 or the other one.
Yeah. So I've already read that one. So I guess if you
All right. I guess I don't know. I'll hurry and read. Wow, we negotiated a lot higher than the arbitrator.
Sorry, did you say something?
Oh, I just said we negotiated a lot higher than the arbitrator.
Yeah.
Oh goodness, we have some serious injuries.
Yeah.
202 injuries per 100. That's like 2 injuries on every employee.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, as long as I can sort of do math.
I know, isn't that crazy?
We got a brochure, no training, because they hired fast.
Uh-huh.
Oh good, we're demoralized too.
Yeah.
And we are working harder for less money.
And getting hurt while we do it.
Getting hurt while we do it, while the company's still profitable.
Yes.
Uh-huh, look at that. The incentive program has not been reinstated in spite of our contract, our
Yeah.
verbal commitment. I feel like it's like how we tell our kids, like, you know, if your friends are going to jump off the cliff, you shouldn't do it too. Like, that's
Yeah.
what I feel like the logic of this argument is. Like, well, all the rest of the companies are taking a cut, so you should too.
Yeah. Well, and obviously, I mean, they're still profitable 2 years later. So
Yeah.
obviously their analysts were incorrect.
Yeah. Like, and employees, like, the bottom line talks, right? I mean, I haven't been in the workforce for a long time, but the bottom line still talks, right?
Yeah.
I mean, my household's running pretty efficiently. Should I change how I run my household because my neighbors doesn't? I mean, that's what this feels like.
Yeah. I agree.
I'm sorry, we're eating less food because our neighbors eat less food, guys. So the trend is that we're all just gonna eat a little bit less. And Christmas, don't even get me started.
Yes.
I'm gonna start laying you guys off. So now we're supposed to talk about all these new rules of the contract, I take it?
Yeah, like the incentive program, work rules.
Because it says like that I'm supposed to help you with the layoff, hiring procedures, incentive pay, work rules, wages. Okay.
Mhm.
Sorry, I'm
Which-
trying to read fast.
Yeah. Obviously, have you finished reading the rest?
Not quite. I'll hurry.
Okay. So I have a few ideas. The incentive plan I don't understand, but.
Okay. Okay, so I think I just finished the incentive program. I think what it's saying is that because of the computerized system, it's now the pace of production is really high, and it's
Mhm.
unsafe, and so that's costing Baxter money. So we need to point that out. Like you're losing money because people aren't able to work because you've got lost work days. So you want to bring the production targets at 80% of the current level. So if they were 20% above the original plant, you're at 120%, right? And now you want to take it to 80% of
Okay.
that, which is still, I mean, I can't do that math, but 80% of 120 is how I take it. So, and then anything above that, any additional production, that's where your incentives will come from.
Okay.
And it says that you're willing to give on this, but we need to get a more cooperative mode of production because the pace is too fast and it's harmful to morale and obviously hazardous to their health.
Bad on the
Right. That's how I understand it. Is that basically we went to producing at 120% instead of 100%, and now you want to get it to 80% of the 120.
Okay. Which, I mean, it said somewhere up there that basically in 4 hours of a workday, we are getting what the old factory did in 1 day.
Yeah.
So
we're doing double time.
Yeah. So, well, it's running around the clock now. So running 24 hours a day, or at least that's what I understood.
Find it again. Okay. The entire plant runs by a machine manned by one worker now accomplishes in 4 hours what it took a whole group of workers to do in one shift. So one worker does in 4 hours what an entire group did in 8.
Okay. So they're making money right there. One employee took the place of a group.
4. Oh, a group, yeah.
And it's doing half the time.
Yes. Not sure if they're open 24 hours or not.
So we'll just go off the 8 hours. I don't know why that's what I thought.
I don't know. I didn't see it right off skimming, but okay. Okay, and then I like the work rules where they want to have at least an equal voice in the establishment of work rules.
Yeah.
Because when management took over, it was just brutal.
Yeah, they're setting a standard that is not reasonable at all for the production safely.
Yeah. Okay, and then they're already pushing out veteran employees. And then if they renegotiate the 52-week layoff notice, then they're going to get all the rest of them out.
Yeah, and why can't they rehire the ones they lay off instead of rehiring and training the other one? You know, training new ones.
Right, because yeah, they're going with the rookie employees that are cheaper. But then you've got a training issue, an injury issue. Yeah, I like this, that the new hires should be the first ones laid off because they could be hired back on.
Yeah.
And then we want a percentage of the growth again because they are still growing and we're still getting hurt.
Capital, and we're at 950.
Okay, so what else do you think?
I don't know. I think we got a good set of demands that we can bring to them.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
What is it?
All right, I think we're ready. All right, so now we get to negotiate a final contract. So I guess from what we just read, we got the 950 is what the base pay still is, and no incentive program was actually put into effect. So I guess first of all, we'd like to address the incentive program that we have been told multiple times would go into effect, and it hasn't gone into effect. We believe that right now the production demands that are put on the employees is too high for what is safe for our employees. So we would like to bring the production down to 80% of what we're doing now. And then anything over that 80% that we produce, that's where the incentive program comes into effect. We just believe this will make it safer for us as employees, because right now there's 202 accidents per 100 employees, and that's just not right. And it's that we're trying to meet the demands that management has put on us for production right now.
Well, we feel like once the employees become familiar with their jobs, that and you can even establish more training, but we think that those injuries are going to go down significantly. But as far as lowering production to 80%, it just doesn't make much sense in the business side of things, because right now our plant is operating efficiently and is viewed as the most efficient plant of its type in the world. So to operate less than what it already is just poor business practice. It's not utilizing it to its potential.
But already with this new plant, it is taking one worker to do what a group of workers did in 8 hours, and that one worker is doing it in 4 hours, so half the time. So, I mean, this new plant has already eliminated a lot of extra overhead in employment, because you're able to bring your workforce down, and all that the new employees are getting for safety is a brochure. The training's not there for them, and so there's a lot of time missed, you know, taking care of the injuries that are happening. So we feel like that it would actually become more efficient if we weren't getting hurt as much, because there'd be less time off work, less time to stop production to fix the problem.
Well, I think we agree on that the safety definitely is an issue. It's costing us paying wages for people not working if they've been injured on the job. So definitely we could, you know, negotiate a way that we can make sure that safety is improved overall.
Well, why can't we go back to the way it was done in the old plant, where, because you guys, right now, you guys tell us the best way to do our work. You set the standard for us. And we feel like, I mean, lowering the standard would help so that the production didn't have to run so quick and injuries would happen. But if you let us as workers decide the best way to meet the standard that you give us, but also that we have a say in the standard that you give us.
One of the problems with that is the way the new plant is set up. We cannot do the old standards of production. We would have to come up with a new list, a new way of measuring how production works for the new plant. There are just so many products going through. No employee is doing the same job 8 hours every shift, every time they go in. And so that's what we were measuring in the old plant.
But in this new plant, we're not really getting, I mean, we don't have a say in what's happening, and you guys aren't on the floor and don't see what's happening, and you aren't listening to our concerns about the safety and how your production quotas are causing the safety problem.
I'm not so sure it's the production quotas that are causing the safety issue. I think it's just a matter of implementing safety procedures and make sure everybody is trained properly before getting on the floor. Because the employees are actually doing less at this new facility than they were at the old facility. There's a lot less strain on the employees now because of all the automated processes.
But we're doing it faster. And so if you look at it, your production's really at 120% from your old one, because it's up 20% from the old plant. So we just want you to set the production targets at 80% of the current level. So 80% of 120 is 96%. So you're losing 4% productivity, and you make that up through incentives.
So just speaking out of context, this isn't from Baxter. Does it say on there that the productivity is based on what the employees are doing, or is it because there's better machinery that's doing the processes faster?
It's the machinery that makes the processes faster. The employees don't have to do nearly as much as they used to.
So in the one,
it's mainly just the processes.
in this one, it's the one that we ran. The old plant, a team of workers stuffed sausage in the casing. In the new plant, one worker slips the casing over a spinning disc as the machine fills and cuts 25 sausages every minute. So a machine manned by one worker now accomplishes in 4 hours what it used to take workers a shift to complete. So it seems like some of it has to do with the speed. A lot of the injuries seem like it has to do with just that it's that quick.
I feel like the company did not implement training programs with the new machinery. We had the old workers come in, learn how to run it, and these old workers that learn how to run these machines first are teaching the new employees how to run these machines. And so we need to implement a better training policy to help these workers understand how to stay safe and how to meet the production needs of the company.
I agree with that. I think a lot of the accidents are because the people who are training are still learning how to use the machines while they're training.
Yeah.
And a lot of those accidents are going to go down now that people have more formal training, but we also need to have a better training plan in general. We were too excited to get in the plant, too excited to get production going. We did not implement enough training.
I agree. I also think that we need to just forget about the incentive program. We can pay based on industry standards. We can. I'm even fine with going back up to the 1069 or whatever rate that was, as long as management retains full control over hiring and layoff decisions, production levels, and working rules. Cindy, you're shaking your head.
No. No. Well, so the speed of the line is causing a lot of the injuries and a lot of the problems. And no amount of training is going to change the fact that speed is a factor. But the layoff, if you have control over layoffs and don't let us keep the 52-week notice, you're already forcing out the older employees through their severance package. You're going to lose more of the seasoned people who do know how to do this work. And they're the better employees that know the business, they know their jobs, they know what's efficient, they know how to get the job done. They were already running more productive when you were under the old system without the machinery. And they've still maintained productivity and they've maintained profitability for you. And you want to just push them out.
Well, I don't necessarily agree that the older workers are the better workers. We've had to retrain everyone, not just the new workers. We've had to retrain the old workers. And sometimes it's harder to retrain somebody who's already learned a certain way of doing a job than it is to hire somebody and train them the first time to do a certain job.
But there wasn't proper training for the first people, or for the new employees either. I mean, that's clear. 202 injuries out of 100 employees. We all have 2 injuries each, at least.
But if we implement the new training program, hiring new employees, they'll be trained the correct way the first time instead of.
You went mute.
Sorry. Man, I'm terrible at this.
Oh, you just got muted.
I was saying,
you.
No, it's okay.
I'm
muting myself.
I'm worried that you're not actually going to train because training has been a brochure so far, and you promised us an incentive program in our last contracts, and the last contract you didn't even stand by your word to give us an incentive program. So to tell us you're going to train us, we're not buying it.
So we totally see the numbers that you're seeing too, and we are not happy with them. We want them to go down too. We love the fact that we do well in productivity. We want to have low numbers for accidents too. It does not look good on us. It does not look like we care about you guys, and we do. So we want to make sure that everybody's trained and they're trained the right way. Like I said, we were just too excited before. But if we can bring in new employees and train them the right way the first time instead of trying to retrain somebody who has to. It's kind of like the habits, you know, you have these ingrained habits because you've been working a certain way for so many years, and then trying to change those in a week, that's hard. It's really rough. And you want to go back to those old habits because that's what you're used to.
Well, you're telling us you care about us, but then you're telling us you would rather get rid of us and hire new employees that you can train the correct way.
I'm saying that the seniority should not be the thing that decides whether or not we hire or fire.
But
we as a company have to look at the bottom line, and if we can hire somebody for $5 an hour less that will do the job, you know, that's what we're going to have to do.
But I don't understand why we're still even talking about a lower wage when you guys are productive, you guys are making money, you guys aren't getting hit like the other companies. And I believe it's because of us employees that are working in the factory and doing this day in and day out and getting injured why we do it.
I don't think we're looking at lowering your wages. We're looking at, like, you guys are wanting control over what's happening on the floor, the production levels and things like that. That's what we don't. We want to keep control of that, but still pay you competitively and make sure that you're trained so that you're.
But do you guys really have an idea of what happens on the floor? We're on the floor day in and day out, and we see what's happening. And we would like to have an equal voice in that because we see where training might lack and why that injury is happening. And you guys don't see that. And we want to have a say so that we can voice our opinions of why these injuries are happening. And we really feel that it's the production that you're demanding on us.
Well, I don't see why there's any reason why you can't report to your supervisor when you see safety issues and such.
Because if we don't have a voice, it's the same thing's going to happen. No incentive program happen. We need to have a voice.
You have a voice in that you can report to your supervisor, but really in the end, it's the management that's going to decide what changes take place.
We don't trust that it's going to happen because we were promised an incentive program that didn't happen. And now you're saying if we tell our supervisors will see that we're safer. Well, HR gave us a safety brochure. That's not making us safer. And we just don't believe that you're going to do what you say you're going to do because it hasn't happened yet. We have new employees training new employees. They don't even know the system. They're just getting thrown into the job and then training somebody new.
Well, I completely sympathize with you on the incentive program because we had every intention of paying it to you until we read 1985.
So, well, I have a question. In the old factory, the way things were done in the old factory worked so well. Having an equal voice where the management set the production standard and then the workers decided the best way to meet that. Why is that not even something that can be considered in this new factory?
I feel like the management in the new factory have seen how high the production is, and so they just want to keep that level. You know, the old way, they took things slow. They got the job done right, safe. But now the management sees, we can do this so fast. We can have so much production. It doesn't matter what they do to meet that. They just need to meet that.
So before you said that in the old factory we were safe. So now that we can meet higher production standards, our safety doesn't matter. We feel like that we'd be more safe, but still be able to meet a higher match than we did in the old factory. But not meet the standard that you have right now and be safe. We're concerned about our safety.
And we totally want you to be safe. Our big thing is before you were only making 25 sausages a an 8-hour shift, and now you can make that same number in half the time. So we can't use those old numbers. What are you going to do the rest of the day after you've made your quota? That's your production right there. You know, we cannot afford to pay you guys to sit around for half the day, because that's money that we could use for other areas. That could be money that we're using for training, but we are using it so you can sit around instead. We have to have new production numbers for the new factory.
That's why we want the incentive based on our production, because so we're at 120% production from our old factory right now. So we said we wanted the production target at 80% of that current level, which is 96%. What if we went 90% of that level? So we get to slow it down a little bit, and we get a little bit of an incentive if we go above it. So you're not paying us to sit around. We're still going to put stuff out. Just we're not required to put out that speed.
Do you feel like that would be a level of production that would increase safety and still have, you know, a good amount of production, still keep the workers busy through the day, and not just, I don't know, sitting around?
I feel like the employees would be willing to work. Like if it slowed down enough that they felt safe, that they would be able to see if they could reach a higher goal. Like set the standard where you need it, and then but they have some motivation to move forward. Right now, all of the employees are really demoralized. They just feel like they're being babysat by all these rules and lack of safety. So if you give them a little bit of say in how they could be productive, but slow it down a little bit. If you give them a little bit of say, they won't feel like they're being babysat, and they might like work up to that. A lot of times we'll work up to a standard. You know, raise the bar and we'll work up to it kind of thing.
How about if we implement that safety program we were talking about, and bring the wage back up to 1069, since we won't be doing the incentive program, and then we'll lower the production to 90% for 90 days and watch the amount of injuries and see if it improves. And if it does improve, then we can slowly increase production back up to where it was, as long as the injury rates stay low.
Okay, so we're gonna have a $10.69 an hour wage, no incentive,
Right.
and we're gonna have lower production down to 90%, trying to increase the safety. And do the workers get any say in how we're going to get this safety? And what about the layoff factor?
I think that they should have say in the training, and we should have say in hiring and firing. I don't think that we need 100% in those areas, but we need to have a voice, just like you need to have a voice.
I think the best idea for management and for the employees is to find another company that is like this process that can help us to train the employees correctly and help us to keep the employees safe.
So have the safety program that we implement include both employee input and be based upon other companies who have a good safety record and are in the same line of business. Is that what the agreement is?
Yeah, because it's a new thing for the management as well, so they don't know exactly how to make everything as safe as possible and still run efficiently. And so bringing in somebody else could help us to be efficient and be safe.
So
I
like
think that's a good idea.
an industry consultant type thing?
Yeah.
I like that.
I like that too, because as employees, our safety is pretty high on our list of concerns.
Yeah,
And
because
if we can have a say in the program, but then also bring in an industry expert, because obviously we weren't trained correctly.
yeah,
And I can see where the company wants say in all layoffs and hiring. I feel like a 52-week layoff notice seems kind of excessive. That's like a year notice on layoffs. But I do think there should be some notice there, and there should be less of a push to kind of push these veteran older employees out. They've been loyal to the company. They've helped the company be profitable. I don't think that they should be the first to go. You took the time to train new people. You can retrain those same new people. But these veterans, they've been loyal to the company. They've stood by through all these labor negotiations all these years. I don't see why their job security should be a threat right now.
So what if we went with a 3-month layoff and 50% say on hiring and firing for both of us?
So you take the 52 weeks to 3 months, and then 50% say on hiring and firing with the union and the company.
How about 75, 25? But I agree on the 3 months.
Yeah, I like the 3-month layoff. Because some of these people, they've given, the best times of their life to the company, and to be shut out so late, where it might be hard for them to find a job, but they're doing the job here just because they're getting more money. That just doesn't seem fair.
But we're still giving them a really nice retirement package too. We're not just throwing you guys out on the street,
Some people would rather work than retire, especially when their self-esteem and they've been demoralized already. And the whole town is working in the same industry.
Mm-hmm. Instead of 50-50, because I understand management, it's your company, you want to have more say with the employees. What if we did like 40-60?
Well, I really don't think that management should have to give up our hiring and firing decisions. I think that, like you said, it's our company, and I think that as long as the contracts have been negotiated, both sides are in agreement, that we should have the option to hire and fire whoever we want. The problem is that it's become the industry norm now to get rid of the unions altogether, and companies just take over, and so I feel like you're listening to the union workers and trying to negotiate with them that to give up that's a huge portion of the company to give up on hiring and firing decisions, and I don't think that we really do that.
Well, as employees, we have more of an idea of, I guess, which employees benefit the company, and you in that ultimate decision, that could then bring our safety back into account. If you're letting go based on what's profitable for the company, and you're the ones that are providing the safest work environment and leaving us to the ones that aren't safe.
But we'll still say that we're going to pay attention to the safety concerns and make sure that injuries are not, they're improving, you know, that we're not having as many injuries. So I think that covers that part of it.
Okay, I take it back. Role playing is so much better than this.
I think we could go on forever and ever.
Oh my god.
It's a giant role play.
Yeah,
It's hard to find an agreement.
I think this layoff thing is hard too, because I really feel like Baxter is just biting the hand that feeds him. I mean, you just, they keep wanting to lay off all the seasoned employees. I know it happens in companies all the time, but I hate it.
What if we include something in the contract such as that Baxter has the hiring and firing decision, but if an employee is getting close to retirement and they're still meeting production levels that are consistent with what is good in the company, they are not allowed to fire them for no reason.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I feel like right now the layoffs, they're laying off the older people instead of the newer people. So I think that the automatic layoff shouldn't start with the oldest, the veterans. It needs to start with the more of a seniority. You're the low guy on the totem pole. You're the first one to go. I mean, and then you can, if they're close to retirement, you can offer them severance instead of a layoff.
Okay.
Like if they're within the, so if we take the 52-week notice off the table, but they're within the 52 weeks of retiring age, then you could give them like a 3-month. I don't know. You could do something with the severance package within that year, right?
Yeah. So layoffs don't start with seniority, and offer a 52 weeks in advance from an employee retiring, offer a severance package to them.
Yeah. And then keep the 3-month notice like generally in there, right? And then it gives those people like, you know, they've got 3 months into their year to decide, you know. Yeah, I guess I want to retire.
Okay, that sounds good. I know this meeting is going really long, so is there anything else you feel like we should include in the final contract? Or do you think we covered it all? I
mean, I
got
talked
10,
incentive, production and safety and layoffs. I think we've got what you need pretty much.
Okay. Good job, guys. That was painful.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, I agree.
So you guys are supposed to write up a final contract. Is that what your guys' assignment is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Lisa, you're away from home?
Yeah. I'm in Arizona, but I have some time here and there to check on it. I worked a little bit on DVDs this morning, and we're getting close. It's just that last part about unions. I think we're going to use a lot of information from unions.
Yeah, we're going to need a lot of outside sources on unions because there's nothing from this week's reading.
Right. So if you guys could get in there and add some stuff tonight, you know, before tonight, that would be, not tonight, sorry, tomorrow night. Then I'm going to be traveling Wednesday and part of Thursday, and then I'll work on it Friday.
So you're traveling back home on Thanksgiving?
Yes.
Oh.
I'll probably get back to Idaho either Wednesday night or Thursday midday. So.
Okay.
So Wendy, do you want if you'll post this, and then I will create a Google Docs maybe for you and I to go in and edit for that final contract. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good Thanksgiving. Travels back safe.
Thanks. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Yeah.